The company, whose founder is credited with transforming Gurgaon from a sleepy hamlet into one of India's economic and real estate epicenters, has lately weathered significant setbacks. Sentiment around DLF has hit a low, particularly after market regulator SEBI banned DLF from accessing the capital markets. Those who have invested in their projects now worry, will this ban impact the money inflow of the company and result in projects getting delayed? In particular, buyers of two DLF projects in NCR, projects which are now delayed for over 2 years from the possession timeline committed to them by DLF, share their concerns in this story.
It's like a mental paralysis for me. I've stopped living ever since I booked this flat.
Booking a flat with the country's topmost real estate company, DLF, too could leave you high and dry. A thought that clearly never crossed any of these home buyers' mind as they were banking on the brand name.
The DLF name was one of the biggest names in India. That is how so many people, had trust in them. But I am disgusted today to see that they have miserably failed to keep their first. It was supposed to be a first prestigious project of DLF in the capital of the country, and they miserably failed. And whatever they have done, it clearly shows that they have got no empathy with the people.
Launched in 2009, DLF's Capital Greens is at the prime location of Motinagar, just kilometers away from Lutyens, Delhi. The project has a total of 3,000 flats and was to be delivered by 2012. The story is no different for these people who booked their flats in Express Greens project of DLF in Manesar. Launched in 2008, Express Greens was to be delivered by 2011, and as the pictures reveal, the project is far from complete even after over 2 years.
We have been paying our hard-earned money consistently, exactly as per the needs of DLF, whereas they have only sold us a dream and they have not delivered the goods at all. The stay order which had come, which was in fact a bad luck for us.
Things got worse when these farmers moved High Court of Punjab and Haryana and filed a writ petition seeking higher compensation for the plot of land where this project stands. The court issued a stay in May this year, and work on the project is stalled since then, making these home buyers more restless and anxious. Over the past few months, DLF has been hitting the headlines for some negative news. The Supreme Court upheld the CCI penalty of 630 crore rupees for skewed buyer-seller agreement and misuse of dominant position, and SEBI imposed a 3-year ban on the company and 6 of its top executives from accessing the capital market.
Fortunately for the buyers of DLF projects across the country, it's only the above two projects which are inordinately delayed. For a company that has a track record of delivering 20 million square feet in the last fiscal and plans to deliver another 20 million square feet by the end of this fiscal, needs to prove that the current spate of difficult judgments against it will have no impact on its delivery timelines. And the beginning can be made by making it right for the 6,000 home buyers of Capital Greens and Express Greens. In New Delhi, Oinito Moja, NDTV.
The past few weeks has seen us highlighting multiple case studies of buyers who have their money stuck because of their developer holding up on the execution. Across all those stories, our attempts to get the developer's side of the story was met with a simple quote. But DLF has come forward to present their reasoning and take us through what really went wrong with these two projects of DLF. In an interview we recorded earlier today with Mr. Rajiv Talwar, the Group Executive Director of DLF, we first asked him to share the company's reasons for the two projects not meeting their completion timelines. Here's what he said.
The basic reason, of course, is that there was an economic slowdown all over the world. This affected economic activity. It affected the availability of labor. There was also a practice in India, I think, during the time of the 2004 to 2007 boom, that everyone, out of severe competition, was led to give a deadline of 3 years completion, whereas many times approvals were not forthcoming, and therefore they could lead to a time overrun besides the other factors which I've cited before. Then action by various agencies, there were new approvals required, whether it was environment. If you recall, in 2004-2005, environment requirements had changed for each project, each building, whereas they were not required to have any such clearance before. And usually all developers would, I'm sure, have followed a similar practice as we did. We are very happy to report that between 2013 January as well as till 2016 March, we would have delivered across these segments 60.3 million square feet of completed projects, most of which would be residential. Many of them would also be, of course, office spaces, commercial and retail. We have learned some lessons also because of the fact that projects were delayed. We offered in many places to double the delayed delivery penalty on ourselves. We made payments not time-bound but construction-linked. We also said that yes, we will give you interest if you have deposited any extra money with us. In some cases, like in Gurgaon, we also offered them modular kitchens, appliances, finished wardrobes, as well as toilets above the counter and under the counter, all complete, so that basically they did not have to spend much time to move in when the projects were completed. And one more lesson which I think we should convey to everyone, we also increased within our own agreements while signing for new projects like Sky Court, Ultima, Crest, the delivery period to be 5 years now. So it's no longer 3 years, it's 5 years now, which we feel would be a much more realistic appreciation of Indian ground reality.
We also spoke to Mr. Rajiv Talwar about the recent orders from the Competition Commission of India and market regulator SEBI. Does the home buyer need to worry about these developments? Will there be any kind of impact because of these orders on DLF's projects? Here's what he said.
I think through you and through your channel, I need to set everyone's mind at rest that not only does DLF have an outstanding record over the last 6 decades plus, that we have always delivered a project. There is enough money set aside. There are enough cash flows coming in for us to meet our capex requirements. In fact, to tell you the truth, we plan well in advance. Also for our financial commitments, we have never ever defaulted either in our completion of projects or in repayment of monies which are due as and when to various investors in DLF. So I hope that they will get this message loud and clear, that nothing for them to worry.
That was DLF's Group Executive Director Rajiv Talwar clearing the air around the recent regulatory fire the company has come under. Mr. Talwar says DLF has factored in these developments and is well prepared to deliver on its projects. Let's now hear out what DLF's investors, its home buyers, are claiming. We are joined in our studio by Vishal Salgotra. He bought a home in DLF Capital Greens, Shivaji Marg, Moti Nagar, Delhi. We also have Mr. Ramamurthy. He bought a home in DLF Express Greens, Manesar. Both these projects are delayed about 2 to 3 years, and we'll also get a legal perspective on all of this from Vinay Singh, founder and owner, Vinay Singh and Associates. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. You heard what DLF just said. We played a phone conversation with them. Are you convinced with their reasoning? They claim there's nothing to worry for investors. What do you say? Are you convinced?
I guess a lot of things that Mr. Talwar said is something new to us. Sharing information is one of the greatest concerns, for people like us. We have invested our money, and we are looking forward to more information coming in from DLF. But that has not happened over the past years. So we have 2,800 buyers who have put in their money, and they are looking for more information coming in, and that has been our biggest concern. And some of the concerns that really if you look into has been regarding compensation. It has been more than 3 years since 33 months deadline was given to the buyers. There are two kinds of buyers. One are original allottees, the other one are buyers from the market. So the buyers from the market are not eligible for any compensation at all as per the agreement that was signed by DLF, and the original allottees are not given any compensation whatsoever under the force majeure clause. So that's That's what it is, and it's like a double whammy for buyers, because they pay for the capital that they have taken for the banks as in terms of EMI. The other is they're paying their rents, and they don't recognize any association. They don't share any information. So that has been our, and a lot of buyers are very, very concerned about the information coming in, and they want to know more.
Okay. Mr. Murthy, would you agree with their reasoning that there are larger macro factors which have led to these delays? We know the real estate sector suffers from approvals coming in very late. That takes about 18 to 20 months. They're talking about labor shortage. What do you seek from them? He spoke about builder-buyer agreements, honoring the clauses in those. What do you seek from DLF now?
See, according to my information, selling apartments without approvals is unlawful. This is what I understand. You can't just collect the money and then start getting approvals and then keep promising, because all of us are, end of the day, it's a hard-earned money. There are a lot of people in the age group of 30s. This is the first time they're buying a house and they're having a problem. Now, what Mr. Talwar has mentioned is too general. I think he has given an overview of DLF across the country, whereas I think this program is confined to only a couple of projects. I don't agree with him about this labor shortage, because the Bihar labor goes all the way to Chennai to complete the project, whereas he can't come to Gurgaon. I can't understand this. You take Bangalore, for example. They also have one project, Western Heights, which is as old as Express Green and Capital Greens. There is absolutely no idea. People are crying there. Whereas they have started another project in Bangalore. It is an absolutely fast track. Almost all the floors have been completed. I mean, whatever he is giving is completely inconsistent. I mean, I don't agree, with due respect to Mr. Talwar. I don't agree. Number two, we buyers have given 95% of the money. He can't deny that. Where is the question of global meltdown, all this stuff? For every money that we have paid, if someone has not paid, he is charging 15%, 18% interest. What is worse, for the delays, the compensation that we are supposed to get, 5 or 10 rupees per square feet, is not available if I have delayed one payment, notwithstanding the fact that I have paid overdue interest for that. If somebody is a second buyer, somebody has bought from someone, not from DLF, he is also not eligible for delay compensation. I mean, all these tricks they are not good for a company like DLF. They are supposed to be claiming that they build India. Yeah. I mean, they should set example to the rest of the industry. But unfortunately, all the builders in Delhi NCR, they copy their agreement. They follow all the wrong practices of DLF. Everybody is following it. I'm sorry to say this. I mean, global meltdown is it's a past story. Yeah. 2008-9, almost all the companies have come out. And more so when the buyers have given 95%, what is the problem? Now, today in our case, if you take, we are in a court case. Now, the government of Haryana promulgated an ordinance, and builders bought land from farmers. The authority that registered the land, all the lands, they ought to have gone to the sale deed, which was sold at 25 lakhs, whereas the guy who is buying is going to get only 10 lakhs of rupees. So prima facie, these are issues. Right. Now, point is that today everything is substantially complete. Now we are stuck because the case is going on in Chandigarh. We don't know when is it going to happen.
Those are larger extraneous issues. I'd like to bring Vinay into this. Vinay, DLF, one of India's biggest real estate developer, and the company by its own admission now says that they're looking at more realistic completion timelines. 3 years, they say company in its whole competitive drive set some impossible standards. 3 years to complete a project, they say, is now impossible. Look at more realistic timelines of 5 to 6 years. Is this a positive, indication from India's biggest developer for the rest of the industry, because they end up setting quite a standard for the rest of the industry, all the players?
Hello. So the one good thing is that they are finally admitting that the timelines they gave you were not realistic. So that's a really good sign. I think the basic problem lies again, with the way builders stonewall you when things go wrong. A large part of the problem is that the buyer does not know where he stands, actually what is happening, and whether that project is going to, get completed in the near future, distant future, or not at all. So I think one thing that these builders could do is take the investors into confidence and be a little more transparent with them. with a group of this size and you're claiming that you've got 60, 70 years reputation, one expects something more than just stonewalling. So if that one area can be addressed, of course, we've discussed this many, many times as to what needs to be done. There is a lapse on the part of the government agencies in probably not giving approvals on time. But that's just one part of the problem. The other part is they are giving you unrealistic deadlines. They are launching projects without approval. So obviously there is going to be a delay. Because you are collecting money today saying that I will do the project, you don't have the approvals in place. You take another year or two to get the approvals. So who's going to pay for that delay? And on the other hand, you have got one-sided agreements where you are either bound to pay nothing or you are bound to pay a pittance. Whereas if the poor investor either defaults or delays payment, you will either cancel his allotment or you will take some heavy penalty from him. So these are issues which somehow need to be sorted out, in terms of law.
Vinay, we've had many developers come on the show and talk about how capacity execution, that's been a huge constraint for everybody across the industry, labor shortage. So DLF has also cited these same reasons. Is that a valid defense?
I don't think that's a valid defense. See, you are a developer. If you are going to construct a project of this size, you have already planned for it. You know what kind of labor requirement you have. You know what kind of material requirement you have. You know what kind of capital requirement you have. It's not right for you to now stand up after your project is stuck and say, okay, oh, there was a labor shortage. Well, why didn't you plan for it? We expect something better from a group of your size. So I don't think that's a valid argument at all to say that there was a lack of material or lack of labor. Unacceptable, simply.
Vishal, you said that there's been a lack of communication with your developer. What do you think they could have done differently with regard to especially the builder by agreement that you feel is not being honored?
Yeah. Let me give you an example. We came to know as a group that there was some labor problem at the site. So we tried, finding it out as to what it is. So, finding it out, is there an official line from them? But we got nothing. So, ultimately there was a dharna done by the association in April. And after that, we got a written reply, from DLF that there has been a labor problem because of which, a labor commission has not asked them to, further construct the flats. So, if DLF was more proactive with the information flow, if they would have actually given, we have also suggested a steering committee wherein, the buyers are also part of it. So we get the continuous information flow. A lot of anxious people would have, understood, where we stand, but nothing has come and, from DLF as an initiative. So as a result, the frustration within the group has been rising. So that has been a very, very, grave concern, with us, apart from all the other issues that we have discussed.
Right. Vinay, looking at DLF's track record of delivering projects, there has been substantial deliveries there as well. These two projects facing few delays. What would you say DLF's approach should be now? Or should buyers worry? In their statement to us, in their conversation with us, they did state that they have planned in advance, they have factored in these developments and they have planned their finances well. The SEBI order, the CCI order is not going to impact them. Should buyers take heart? Should their investors take heart? Or would you still advise caution?
Well, I would think that the buyers should keep their fingers crossed and proceed with caution both. If you see the amount of bad news that seems to be coming, you've got a penalty which is confirmed, you can't raise capital from the market, there are other small issues, there is a stay order here. So if the sum total of it is, it's not going to be very easy for DLF to deliver on their commitments, regardless of what may have happened in the past. And I think the best way forward for them right now would be to take these investors into confidence, assure them of timelines with some concrete evidence, and also compensate them wherever possible in a manner which is befitting, not some small pittance. So I think if these few confidence building measures come forth, and as was rightly pointed out, why don't you have a committee where the flat buyers are involved? One flat buyer going out and saying that, listen, I am convinced that there is a problem but it will get sorted out, will speak volumes much more than any builder can convince the investor community. So I think they should really look at these kind of measures.
All right, honor its commitments. It's going to be a crucial time for DLF if it wants to retain its brand value in the minds of its home buyers, its investors, be it the SEBI order or the CCI order. What matters is the verdict of the home buyer, and for that they need to honor their commitments, especially those stated in the builder buy agreements. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you.